You know, I really like tea. So if you've been watching me for any great period of time, you will know that while I love Windows 10 as an operating system, I do not like the out-of-the-box look of it at all. I mean, it is so ugly, boring, uninspired. It's just pretty crap, I'm sorry. I mean, the wallpaper's not half bad, it's really not, but the start menu, it looks like a contact list in a phone. It's just terrible. It's no good at all. And then the taskbar, it's flat, it's black and white. It's boring, man. It's just stupidly boring. Like, this is not a good look for a computer. I don't like, maybe it's flashy and modern, but it's just unappealing. It really is. Now, what I like is what I feel is the most beautiful operating system ever created, and that would be Windows XP. I mean, Windows XP is amazing. It's got a beautiful field for the wallpaper in the background by default. It's got a 3D type taskbar and start button with, bright, beautiful colors. It's got a very functional start menu with columns. It's great. I love it to death. And so because of that, I have always taken my computer and changed the look on Windows 10 to make it look as much like Windows XP as is possible. And yeah, it's actually very convincing. I get comments all the time from people asking me, bro, how are you still using Windows XP in 2020? Bro, stop using Windows XP, you're gonna get viruses. Blah, blah, blah. Typical stuff like that. And in the past, whenever somebody has asked me how to make Windows 10 look like Windows XP, I have always pointed them to Michael MJD, who is kind of a computer enthusiast YouTuber, because he's the one who I learned how to do this from, because he made a couple of video guides on it. And he's a great creator. I'll have him linked down below. You guys should check him out if you're into tech stuff. He has a great channel, and he really deserves a special little shout out because he makes some really cool stuff. But people have asked me to make my own guide for how to do this so they can kind of see what I have done personally, so I decided to go ahead and do that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you guys how it's done. So this is pretty much how Windows 10 will look out of the box. I've installed some programs and pinned some stuff on the taskbar, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, and this might not make sense at first, but trust me, I have a reason for this, is you're going to want to add something called Take Ownership to the right-click menu in Windows Explorer. So basically, when you right-click and you get a context menu, there's different options of stuff you can do. And if you click on a file, you can see there's an option here that says Take Ownership. And that's not on Windows 10 by default. You have to add it via a registry key. And basically what this does is all files in Windows have an owner, basically. And most files by default, especially system files like the ones found in the Windows folder, these are all owned by either the system or something called Trusted Installer. If you go to Properties and you go to Security here and then go to Advanced, you can see Trusted Installer is the owner. Now, you can change that manually to make you the owner, but it takes time, it's a little confusing, and basically you can add this option that says Take Ownership, and then it will just run a little script through command prompt and do it all for you much, much easier. So, there is a computer kind of blog website called How To Geek, and they made a really great article on how to add this to it. And it explains how to add the registry key yourself to Registry Editor, which is great and all, but at the bottom they have a little download for a little script you can run that will just add the registry key yourself. And that's what I recommend you do. Now, I've done this on several computers. There's no virus, there's nothing dangerous about this. It won't mess up your computer or anything, so no need to worry about that. But anyway, you want to download that little zip file here, and you want to unzip it. And then you want to go in here, you want to double click this Add Take Ownership to Context menu, hit yes, and it's going to give you this little warning, and then you just want to hit yes. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, but you get the general idea. That's what you want to do. All right, so that is the first thing. And again, this will be explained here momentarily. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add something called a theme patcher, which is going to allow us to patch in a Windows XP theme that we can have Windows 10 switch over to give it kind of the Windows XP look. And it's going to be pretty stinking incredible when you see it, but let's go ahead and do that. So the program I like to use for this is something called Ultra UX Theme Patcher. And I think I forgot to mention it earlier, but all of this is linked down below in the description, so you can go ahead and download all of this yourself. They just came out with version 4 of this recently, so that's pretty cool. They're constantly supporting this so it works with the newest versions of Windows 10. And I'm on version, let's see, it was the October update for 2020, so I'm on the newest version of Windows 10 for this, so it does work. And anyway, let's go ahead and download and install this. So, okay, so it's telling me this is blocked. It's just Windows Defender Smart Screen. This isn't harmful. There's no need to worry about this. Everything in this is safe. So, okay. So, anyway, so we've gone ahead and we've downloaded that. So, let's go ahead and install it. And Ultra UX Theme Patcher 4. Smart Screen, block this, run anyway. Give it administration privilege. Bleh, I can't talk today. Administration privileges. You want to hit next. Accept it to the terms of license agreement. Check that. License conditions, I agree. Install. Okay, so hold up a second. Before you hit install, there's an important point that you need to know here. So please read this information carefully before you patch your system files. So this program is going to try to patch 2 very important files in your System32 folder. Okay? And this is where we need that little take ownership thing. Because by default, you see this theme UI and this UX init files right here? These are owned by the trusted installer thing that I showed you all earlier. And you need to change that so that it's owned by you and your account on Windows so that this program can patch these so that the program will work successfully. If you do not change the ownership of the files, this program cannot patch it in the installer and it will not work. The theme that you try to switch it to for the Windows XP, it will not work. It took me forever to figure out how to do this and figure out this thing. But this is very critically important. So you need to go to local disk C, you need to go to Windows, you need to go down to System32, and you're going to scroll down, you're going to look for something called Theme UI. Now all of these are listed alphabetically, so that makes it a little bit easier to find. All right, Theme UI. Theme, I went a little too far there. Okay, Theme UI, we're at TI. Okay, themeui.dll. Now, something else is important here. If you don't see this .dll, if you just see theme UI and you're not seeing the file extension, go up here to View, go to Options, go to View again, then go down here to where it says Hide Extensions for Known File Types. Just uncheck that box and hit Apply. By default on Windows 10, they don't show you file extensions. Don't ask me why. It's a dumb setting to have, especially one that's turned on by default, but you want to uncheck that. Okay, so we're going to right-click this file right here. We're going to hit Take Ownership. We're going to hit Yes. When prompted, a little window will flash up and go away instantly, and now we own the file. So that's perfect. So now we want to find one called uxinit.dll. So dang, where is uxinit? I already passed it. Oh, here it is. Okay, uxinit.dll. This might be capitalized for you. It might not be. But either way, you want to take ownership of that as well. I've seen it capitalized. I've seen it lowercase. It's really weird. Okay, so we went ahead and took ownership of that. So now we can go ahead and hit this install right here. So it's going to set a system restore point. Okay, create a backup and tried to patch. Backup completed, file patched. Okay, as long as it's saying that, that means we did everything correctly. So we want to hit next. It's going to ask us to donate. We can hit next again. All right, so now we need to reboot our computer. So I'm going to be right back, and I will come back and finish recording the video. Go ahead and restart your computer, and then we'll go ahead and install that Windows XP theme. Alrighty guys, so we went ahead and rebooted our computer, and we can go ahead and install the Windows XP theme now. And so for this, we're going to be going over to DeviantArt. There are a ton of awesome creators on DeviantArt that have put up stuff like this. And basically all our resources, for the most part, are coming from this today. So there's this great Windows XP themes for Windows 10 here. It's a little bit old. It's been up on here for, oh gosh, probably 4 or 5 years, I want to say. But it still works perfectly. So there's going to be this little download button here. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And I'm going to have to go ahead and re-sign in because I haven't signed into this for a while. So you guys see my email, that's okay. That's my public channel email. You can email me if you want to. I probably won't reply, but you can try anyways. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit download here. And okay, so this is also going to be a .rar file that you need to unzip. So make sure you have 7-zip or WinRAR installed so that you can open this. It won't just open with the regular Windows XP, or not, I'm sorry, Windows 10 unzipping tool. So see, I'm already excited about it looking like Windows XP. All right, so we're going to go ahead and extract this. Now, there's going to be different folders here. It says theme for 10 build. Now, these are much, much older builds of Windows 10, but it doesn't really matter. Just use this bottom one. It's the newest one. All right, and so what you're going to want to do next is you're going to go ahead and copy all this stuff. You're going to go to local disk C, Windows, then go down to resources, and then go to themes and paste all of this right in here. Do this for all current items and hit continue. Alrighty, and so what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to pull up settings here. So you can here's a little shortcut for you guys. You can right click on the taskbar and hit taskbar settings. I've actually made a little settings shortcut over here. It's probably silly because I rarely ever use it. All right, and so you're going to want to go up here to themes, and then you can see we have some new theme options down here. Now, there's different themes for Windows XP, but the one that came stock with it and the one that I like the most is the XP Luna theme. So let's go ahead and double click that, and then it's going to pop up and say, please wait a moment, and then it's going to totally change the Windows theme. So let's go ahead and hope this works, and here we go. Please wait. All right, lingered for a second, and there we go, guys. So we have now got Windows XP. Now, on some of the Windows 10 apps, it doesn't change the look of it much. There's this little blue border around it, but otherwise it basically looks the same. But on regular classic Windows apps, for most of them, not the Metro UI apps, like File Explorer, look at that. You've got that blue taskbar up there. You've got these Windows XP buttons. They're a little bit stretched because the dimensions are different. You really can't do a whole lot about that. But you can see it's definitely looks like Windows XP. So, and here's like the little green bars with the little sections to them instead of it just being one long line. It's pretty amazing. So, and it doesn't just stop there. You're going to see the theme in a lot more other programs and stuff that we're going to run. But so that's how you get the basic theme. And then you can see you have the Windows XP regular Hill wallpaper set by default in the background. So it's pretty sweet. But we're not done yet. So the next thing we're going to want to do is change something about the taskbar, because the taskbar still looks like Windows 10, and it does not look great. You can see it actually changed that theme, changed the icon over here to something more like the Windows XP flag instead of the Windows 10 little window. I mean, they're both Windows, but the Windows 10 looks more like a Windows, and this looks more like a flag. I digress. So what we're going to want to do to change the taskbar is we're going to want to use a nifty little program called OpenShell. Now, back in the day, there was this program called Classic Shell, and that was what you used to change the taskbar, but the creator behind it basically abandoned the project because he had to spend time on his life. You can see this is actually the Classic Shell forum over here. It's still up. But he doesn't really update the program anymore. So we released the source code onto GitHub, and some enterprising people changed the name to OpenShell and have been updating and working on the program ever since. So if you go here to the OpenShell GitHub, you can see right down here, there's the download for the latest release, which is version 4.4.160. And so you just want to go here to downloads, and here is the latest version, which... when was this released? You know what? Oh yeah, October the 18th. So they've actually been working on newer versions for this for quite some time. It's pretty stinking awesome. This one finally got support for automatic updates, which is great because up to this point, you always had to install updates to this manually. It didn't have automatic built-in updates. So that is a huge, awesome change. Okay, Cats, we get it. You can stop fangirling now. I just really love the OpenShell project. All right, so you want to go ahead and download this exe file right here. It's going to take a minute, and we're going to go here to downloads, wait for it to finish, and we're going to double-click that and run it. All right, so you can already see here, look, these installer buttons, they look a lot more like Windows XP now. They have that little design to it. They have the same similar kind of text. It has the blue glow until you hover, and then it's orange. It looks a lot more like Windows XP. So we can go ahead and click Next. We can check this box. Again, this all looks much more Windows XP-like now. Next. All right, so for this, here's the thing. This has 4 different components. It has something called Classic Explorer, which adds a toolbar to Windows Explorer, replaces the copy UI, and fixes some usability problems. I don't really care for the changes in this myself personally, so I always just don't install this. The OpenShell menu is the main thing that we want, so of course we're going to leave that. That's what's going to change the taskbar. Classic Internet Explorer
Let you customize title bar and status bar of Internet Explorer. I don't use Internet Explorer, and I didn't like the changes in this part either. So I would just go ahead and don't even bother installing that. But OpenShell menu keep, and now that they've actually enabled automatic updates again, we want to keep the OpenShell update portion as well. So then hit next, hit install, give it admin privileges, and then you are done. All right, and so basically what that's going to do is now give you a custom start menu and a custom taskbar. So if you click down here, you can already see it pops up with the settings. So this is where we're going to start customizing the settings. Okay, so first thing you want to do is by default it's going to be on Windows 7 style, which is already an improvement, but you really want classic with 2 columns. So that's what we're going to have over here. And so that's going to be the first thing. We're going to hit this check mark here that says show all settings, and that's going to give us a lot more options over here. So this next thing is going to be to replace the start button. And for this, we're going to actually need to download a start button that looks like Windows XP. And for that, we're going to be turning to DeviantArt once again. So let's go up here, and we're going to go up to, I think this one. Yes. So this is basically a page from the classic shell forum. And right here, you can see attachments for different Windows XP start buttons. And the one that there's a lot of them here, but the one that most resembles the original Windows XP start button would definitely have to be this one. So we're going to open image in new tab by right-clicking on it and hitting that. And then we're going to save image as. We're going to save it here to downloads. So something I personally like to do at this point is I like to go to local disk C, and I like to make a new folder and name it Windows XP so I can stick all my kind of like Windows XP resources in here. So we're going to go to downloads, we're going to copy the start button, and we're going to go to Windows XP, and we're going to paste this right in here. All right, so the next matter of business is we're going to go back to the OpenShell here, hit replace start button, hit custom, pick image, we're going to go to local disk C, Windows XP, and then find that PNG and stick it right down on there. Then you can see right now, here's the Windows XP. And now this doesn't look a whole lot like Windows XP just yet, but let's make a few more changes and you'll see. It'll look pretty stinking awesome. Okay, I think the first thing we should probably do is go to skin. So by default, this uses the Metro skin, and what we want is Windows XP Luna. All right, and that's going to make it look like this. See how much more that actually looks like Windows XP? So this is pretty great. There's still a couple of things we're going to want to do. The first order of business, I'm going to hit show user picture. We're going to turn off no icons in second column, and that looks pretty good. That makes a lot better. And you can see right here, this opens up another column to the right, just like Windows XP used to do. I don't care for this fade-in animation, though, because that's not really original to Windows XP. So we're going to go to animation here. We're just going to search for that, and we're going to turn off fade and just put no animation. So it's a little bit more snappy. We're going to do the same for main menu animation. So when we open it, it's there instead of just fading it in. I like that a lot better. All right, so the next thing we're going to want to do is customize the taskbar. And before we even do that, I'm going to go and right-click on this taskbar and go to taskbar settings because we need to change a couple of things here. So by default in Windows 10, these icons, you just hover over them and they have a little line underneath it if you've got one open, but they don't really tell you much information about what's actually open, which is different than how it was in Windows XP. And to change that, what you can do is you can go to combine taskbar buttons and you can click never, and then you can see, oh, it's actually giving me information about what's in these icons, which is what Windows XP did. And then what you're also going to want to do is go to use small taskbar buttons. And that's going to make the taskbar a little bit smaller. And as you can see, that start button actually fits the taskbar now. And what else we want to do is we want to go here. And here's a little bug you're going to notice a lot in this, is when you right-click here and get this menu, whenever you hover over it, it gets that blue and it doesn't go away. That's just a bug in the theme. There's really no way to fix that I'm aware of. I personally can just deal with it. It's not that big of an issue for me, but it's there. I just want you guys to be present that is an issue with the theme. All right, so you see there's these little white check marks next to show Cortana and show task view buttons. We're just going to turn those off. I don't use those, and those aren't really present in Windows XP, but if you use them, you can keep them, whatever. All right, so let's go to search, and then let's hit hidden. for that search icon because we're going to use the search in Classic Shell, which, believe me, works just as good, if not better, than the regular Windows search. You can type for, let's say, what's a good setting? Disk management, right? So, and then create and format hard disk partitions. See, it works just fine. All right, so then again, we're gonna go over here to Customize Taskbar, and we're going to want a custom texture, and I'm gonna go and grab that right now. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and pull this up here, and what we want is going to be over here, and again, I will have this link down below in the description. So there is this, another forum post on the Classic Shell forum, and this guy submitted a great little PNG for the taskbar. I just had it here, but I pulled it up. So here it is. Okay, so xpblueluna.zip, and this is going to get us the correct texture for the taskbar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to downloads. We're going to extract this. All right, and I'm actually just going to take this right here. So the one we want is XP Blue. There's several options here, but this is the best one. I'm gonna take this and copy it again to my Windows XP folder. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull up the settings for OpenShell again, go to Taskbar Texture, and then go right over here. So, and there, now we will have the correct one, but let's hit OK. All right, and then you can see right there, there's the correct taskbar. But the lighter blue is usually way over here to the right, but you can see it kind of just goes way too far to the left and then kind of glitches out. So we're going to want to change that. And to get the Classic Shell settings back again, you just right-click on Start, then hit Settings. So for this, what we want to do is we want to see where it says, I think it's, is it horizontal stretching? I'm pretty sure it is. So we're going to want to go here. We're going to want to take this right 0. We're going to want to change that to 200. So, and that doesn't quite look right because the light blue is a little bit too far to the right. We want it to be over here to the left as much as possible. So let's go over here and change it to let's try 169. Okay, so, and that doesn't really look right either. Alrighty guys, so I had to pause the tutorial and come back later because my wife needed me. That was who you heard coughing in the background. And unfortunately, I realized looking back at the footage that you really couldn't see the taskbar where I was working on. So let me go over here and just move my webcam over a little bit. That's a lot better. So you can see down here in the corner, I've pretty much got it. It's not completely exact yet, but it's pretty close, the light blue to the dark blue ratio. Basically what you want to do is up here, you want to have the horizontal stretching be 0, 175, and the vertical stretching be border 7.3. And that's just me. It's going to vary a bit based on your monitor and your resolution and how wide it is and several other factors. So play around with it, but this is what it is for me. I have a 27-inch 1440p monitor. You'll just kind of have to figure out how it'll look for yourself. All right, so that is done. So let's move on to the other main things. And the first thing that I personally want to do is change some of these logos or icons or whatever you want to call them around a little bit. And also I want to take a look at this theme here. We need to go here to colors. And we've already got this blue color set, so that's fine. But I want to go ahead and have these accent colors right here on all of these things. Turn this on so everything will be kind of that same bluish color. Like you could see this was brown earlier, but it's blue now. And we just want everything to have kind of that same effect, that same sort of theme. These will have a bit of a blue background. And I personally think that looks fine, so we'll keep that on. Okay, so the next order of business, what we're going to want to do is we want to right-click on our desktop, hit View, and then turn the icons down to small, because that was how it was in Windows XP. You might like this, you might not like this, and here's the thing, you don't have to do any of these changes. It depends on how much you want to look authentic. I actually like the smaller icons myself. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong thing there. But that's just me. So I'm going to keep them that way. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to be changing all of these icons in our menu to make it look more Windows XP-ish, as well as our desktop icons. What we're going to want to do for that is we're going to want to open up Taskbar settings again, and we are going to want to go over here, And what am I looking for? I think we want to go to themes for this. Yes, no. Yes, okay, and we want to go here to desktop icon settings. All right, so for this, we're going to want to download some Windows XP icons, and I'm going to give you the link here in just a sec. All right, so there's going to be a page link down in the description for this, as well as everything else. I'm pretty sure I already said that, to these icons right here. And this is basically a little zipped up folder of some Windows XP icons. We're going to download this from DeviantArt, and we're going to go in here to our downloads, and we are going to extract that Windows XP icons. Here we go. All right, so we're going to go in here, and I'm just going to copy this Windows XP icons folder and go to a local disk C, and then just paste this in our Windows XP folder here. And so in here you can see you have all the basic Windows XP icons, and we're going to use these to change some of the stuff in our desktop icon settings. Okay, so right now I'm going to select all of these right here, and I'm going to hit apply, and it's going to add them to our desktop. Now I'm not going to keep them there. They're just going to kind of be there for a second while I work on this. And the reason why I check those is I've tried changing these before without checking them first, and it kind of bugged out on me. I don't know if that was related or not, but I'm just doing it just in case because I know this works. All right, so for this PC, we're going to hit change icon. We're going to hit browse, and we're going to go straight to our Windows XP folder and Windows XP icons. Now I think this one looks the closest to that, so we're just going to add that. And then this one's for our users folder. I don't remember what the specified Windows XP icon was for that, but anything with a person on it probably looks fine. This could do, but I think that had more to do with credentials, so maybe not that. Let's see what else they got. This right here looks good, number 269, so we'll use that one, and that looks good. And then for network's pretty much a no-brainer. It's the classic computer with the world symbol next to it, so that's going to be our networks. And then, okay, so here's something you should know about recycle bins, okay? The recycle bin animation, when you change these, it kind of makes it a little bit buggy. Like, it's supposed to show it as empty when you empty it and then full when it's got something in it, and it doesn't always work. I've noticed that when I change the icon, sometimes it shows it is full when there's nothing actually in it, and it shows it as empty when there is stuff in it. Again, if that bothers you, you don't have to make this change. I don't really care. The little bug doesn't really bother me so much, so I just go ahead and change it. I can live with that, but that's kind of up to you whether or not you want to deal with that. Okay, so, oh, that was the full one. I messed that up. Okay, so let's go back here to Windows XP. This is the full one. All right, and then this one is going to be the empty icon. And for that, we are going to go down to here. All right, so we can go ahead and click apply. And as you can see, it changed all of these right on here. So pretty sweet. Okay, so for now, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck these real quick because I don't really want these on the front. Also, this control panel one, you see we haven't changed that one yet. We are going to do that from a different location. So we'll come back to that. Okay, well, unfortunately, that messed up all my icons here, so I'm going to have to redrag them. I'm kind of picky about how I like my icons stored. I don't like them going too far down on that page in one column because I feel like it's just going down too far, and this is a big monitor, so I kind of like them in a little square. I'm weird, I know, but that's just me. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to Classic Shell Settings, and I told you guys we'd be coming back here later, so this is now the time when we're doing that. So we're going to go to the Start menu, and we're going to try to customize this to make it as Windows XP-esque as possible. And yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to, let's see, so I don't think we had the users folder on the original one, so I think I'm going to start off by removing that. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go down here to user files, and we're just going to delete item. All right, so you can see that's gone. So this next one, user documents, we're going to go ahead and right-click that and hit edit item. And for the label here, we want to change that to my documents. All right, we don't want to fool with this because this is going to tell us where these two things are going to tell us what they need to actually link to. And then for the icon, we're going to do the same thing we did for desktop. Going to go here, hit the little dots to browse, go to Windows XP icons. We're going to find the My Documents folder, which I don't remember. I think it was this one. Yeah, that one looks right. So we're just going to go ahead and click that.
and we're going to hit OK. And we're going to do the same thing for user pictures. Edit item, my pictures, go down to icon, go to these little dots, and we're going to go to the pictures and open that. So, and you guys can follow along like you want to. I'm not going to cut all this stuff out because I've seen a lot of people do that with tutorials. And while it does save time, make the video shorter, I feel like sometimes it ends up not being helpful because people miss something. So I just kind of want to make it as easy for people as possible. Okay, to follow along. Okay, so that's good. And, oh, hold up, I missed something. We want to hit my computer. Oh, all right, we already did that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is hit OK. And as you can see, it's changed those settings. Okay, so there's a couple of other things we want to do as well. Give me 1 second, guys, because I'm going to look something up real quick. Okay, so basically I kind of forgot what the Windows XP Start menu looked like, how it was on the right-hand side. So I downloaded a picture to kind of give myself something to work from. So yeah, so let's go ahead and take this recent items and let's move that one up here for us. And you might see there's no pictures on this. It varies based on what people had added and deleted and removed from this. For now, let's go ahead and change the recent items. We're going to change it to my recent documents. We're going to move it above the computer. So for this, go to Customize Start menu. Let's go to, let's see, Recent Documents. Let's go ahead and move that up here. And we're going to double click that. You can right click and hit edit. You can double click it, whatever's easier. We're going to change that to my recent documents. Then we're going to go down here and we're going to try to find the little file with the clock on it. Okay, so that's going to be down here. File with the clock. And here we go. File with the clock. That's pretty much the same one. Okay, so we've got that. So we're gonna hit OK. And we want to make one for networks on here, if it's not already on here. There is one down here, network connections. So we're gonna drag that one up right under computer. All right, and we're gonna hit edit item. We're gonna change the label to, ooh, the label's already set to something. I don't think that'll mess it up though. My network places. We're going to change the icon to this. Okay. We're going to hit OK there, and then let's make sure that still works. It does. Bring this up to network connections. Perfect. All right, so you can see that's already looking way, way more Windows XP-esque. Did I say that correctly? I think so. Okay, so there's settings here, and we don't really want that there. Instead, we want to set program access and defaults. But I don't know if that's on here. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, unfortunately, we don't really have a functional working menu command for set program access and defaults. But realistically, you do that from the settings app already anyway. So we could just change this one to make it look like that and say the same thing, since it performs basically the same function. So I think that's what we'll do. For control panel, we don't need to change the label. But we do need to change the icon. So let me see if I can find that. Where was the control panel? I always love the look of the classic control panel. I think it added a lot. So I don't know. I mean, the newer one, the Windows 7 version of it looks fine too. But I just really like the classic stuff, which is kind of the whole point of this whole tutorial, if you think about it. Okay, so the label for this is going to be set program access and defaults. Okay, and then we're going to change this icon. Alrighty guys, so a little bit of bad news. There is no default programs and file types icon within our Windows XP icons folder. So I did a little bit of a Google search here and I did find an icon that we could download and use, but here's the problem, is it's not actually an icon, it's a JPEG. So what are we gonna do? Well, we have to convert this to an icon. So a little bit of an extra tutorial in here for you guys. So I'm going to open up Photoshop here. And since it's a JPEG, it's going to have that little transparency effect behind it. So if we convert it to an icon, it's not going to look quite right. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to open this up in Photoshop. And then we're going to want to cut out the background around this logo. And then we're going to want to save it as a PNG. And then we're going to find a website that can convert PNGs to ICO files, and then we are going to use that to put in our program folder. And it looks like Photoshop is not responding. I was afraid of that. Okay, well, let's give that one another go. All right, Photoshop finally opened. You can see there's several very adorable pictures of yours truly. So let's go here to the file that we just downloaded. I'm gonna select my little magic wand tool to the right. And, oh goodness, okay, let's first unlock that. So, dang, okay, what would be the easiest way to do this? We could try selecting all of this. No, let's see, I wish we could get all of this stuff and we could just select, okay, no, that's actually working. Okay, good, so I just selected all that, perfect. That looks like it's more or less correct, so we can just cut that out. All right, now that should be pretty much perfect. So let's save this now as a PNG. We're just gonna call it, default icons, default icon, or default programs icon. That should work. So we can't save as an ICO file within Photoshop, unfortunately. So I wonder if we could export it as one, though. I've never tried doing that. Quick export as PNG. What's our export as thing look like? It doesn't look like something we can use. Okay, so let's just make this easy. Let's just make this easy and save as a PNG. So we're gonna go with default programs icon, and we're going to save that. All right, so we can now close Photoshop. And what we're gonna wanna do now is we're gonna wanna go onto Google, and we're going to want to look for PNG to ICO. Okay, so this first one, convertico.com, this is a legitimate website. I've used it before. So we're going to want to go here. And I'm sure I'm going to get tons of comments on this video. Will this give me virus? The answer is always no. Okay, so we just went ahead and uploaded that. You can see it's already got it, so we can just download it right here. And there you go. There's our little ICO file. So we can open this. Unfortunately, we cannot. It doesn't have a program to that's designed to work with it right off the bat, obviously. So let's go ahead and pull up File Explorer here. Let's go with this default programs ICO. We're gonna copy that. We're gonna stick it here in our Windows XP icons folder. I probably should have just given it a number. Because now it just sort of sticks out, but I don't care. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we can close all of this. We're gonna go in here again. We're gonna go back to the Windows XP. We're gonna go all the way down, and we're gonna select this. All right, and there, as you can see, there is your correct icon. So it's almost completely exact. Probably could have made this brown or black around the border instead of the silver color, but it's really not that much big of a difference. So the next one we're going to want to do is printers. We're going to change that to printers and faxes. Who even uses faxes anymore? I have no idea, but I guess some people do. Okay, so printers. We're going to change this to printers and faxes. Printers and faxes. Okay, and then we're going to change this icon to, what's this one that we need? It's like this, but it's got a little folder behind it. This one right here. Okay, so then there's our printers and faxes one. All right, and then we only have two more things: help and support, run, and search. And of course, we're going to change these to be in the correct order. So we're going to want to change this to this magnifying glass icon that was pretty stinking easy to find. Okay, we're going to want to go to this help icon and change this one to, where's that big, very obvious question mark button that it's kind of iconic for Windows XP, really. Okay, that one's good. Then we've got run, and I've also really liked this one as well. This is also kind of iconic. So then the shutdown dialog has the same sort of logo and stuff. We'll just change the text to turn off computer. But I really like the more simplified text of Windows XP. I suppose perhaps it's more user-friendly and simplistic, or maybe it's not. I suppose you could argue that either way. Okay, here's the run as dialog, or run, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, shutdown dialog. We're going to make the label for this one, turn off computer. Turn off computer. And we're into spellcast. That would be a good thing to do. I mean, you're old enough after all. All right, turn off computer, and there you go. So that's pretty much perfect. So yeah, guys, there is our Windows XP start menu. I really like it. I think it looks great, and it's almost perfect. The icons are a little big, but otherwise, it looks pretty stinking good. So we can go ahead and unpin this. To remove something from this list, you can just right-click it and have it here where it says remove from this list, and you're pretty much good to go. You can customize that as you see fit, I suppose. Okay, and one other little important thing here, guys. You might notice that I've kept the little search box down here that you can use to search normally. And now here's the thing. I could turn that off and just use the regular search feature that Windows has that was only with Windows XP. But here's the thing. When Windows Vista came out and they actually have the search box right in the start menu, that was such a great change, and that was probably the one thing I didn't like about Windows XP, is how there was no search function built into the search menu, or start menu. And so I've actually chosen to keep that just because of how awesome and functional that is. If you don't want to and you think it ruins the authenticity, you can remove it. You can just find that in the classic shell settings or open shell settings, but I like it, so I'm going to keep it because it's just so helpful. Like, look, format. See, we've already got create and format hard drive partitions. It's so fast, it just works so well. I've decided to keep it. But anyway, that's just me. So as you can see, we've got this looking more and more like Windows XP now. There's only really a couple of things left that we need to change. And for this, we are going to be starting by going to our new control panel. And we want to go to, not sounds, we want to go to mouse. So you might notice I'm still using the cursor, the whole little cursor options from Windows 10, and we want that to look like Windows XP. And that is actually very, very easy to do. We just need to go to mouse, we need to go to pointers, and under here you can see there's a scheme, Windows default. We just want to set that to none, and boom, look at that. You're on the old Windows XP cursor scheme. Now I see I've got that bigger cursor. We're going to have the iconic little time loading waiting thing next to it instead of what's the default one? Isn't it like a blue little circle? Yeah, I don't care for that as much. That looks too much like an Apple thing. And this isn't Apple, this is Windows. So the next thing we're going to want to do is change the sounds, which are also very iconic. The sounds of Windows XP. Unfortunately, there's no scheme for that. We're going to have to create our own. But we can do that by downloading this lovely little thing, also provided to us by the folks over at DeviantArt, of Windows XP sounds. So we're going to go here and we're going to download this. And as always, okay, it says couldn't download. Uh-oh, what does this say? Couldn't download, no. That's weird. Let's try that again. Huh, we're having trouble downloading that, guys. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so for some reason it wasn't downloading the first 2 times. I just refreshed the page and it downloaded fine, so don't know what that issue was about, but let's go ahead and continue. So we're gonna extract this folder, Windows XP Sounds, and see, you can already see we got that little sand timer loading thing, and Windows Explorer is crashing on me. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna go ahead and copy all of these. We're gonna go to our Windows XP folder. I'm going to make a new folder called Win XP Sounds, and we're gonna right click all of these right into here. Okay, so let's open up Control Panel again, and basically what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna test all of these and then figure out which one sounds the most. Some of them are named the same as the actions kind of on here, but that's not always enough to go by. Like, let me give you an example, right? Critical stop is this by default on Windows. You can hear it by pushing this test button. Right? That's critical stop on Windows 10. This is the Windows XP critical stop. And we're gonna use VLC player to play this. Okay, that's the critical stop there. That's pretty iconic. So we can change that by hitting browse and then going to Windows XP to sounds, and then hitting critical stop. All right, test, there you go, and then you can hit apply. Now that's pretty easy, but some things are named slightly differently, So for some of those, maybe you want to like, you have to try stuff. You have to see how it sounds in comparison to what it normally would be. And that's where it gets a little bit complicated. So for example, here's critical battery alarm. Okay, that's just kind of the default notification sound on Windows 10. And I don't think they have a battery alarm here. Oh no, I was wrong, they do. Okay, you got critical battery, and then you got battery low. That's critical battery, so we're gonna wanna change that. So XP critical battery critical. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and change that. I don't even have a battery on mine, so that's not even a necessary change. This is a desktop, but if you have a laptop, then I guess maybe you would want that, or maybe you have a battery in your desktop because you're a weirdo. Okay, calendar reminder. Okay, that's kind of nice. I don't think Windows XP has a calendar reminder. In fact, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So maybe we might want to use Windows XP Notify. Okay, maybe we might want to use that, a little guitar sound. Or maybe we might want to hear in feed discovered. Now that sounds weird. Information bar, nah. Let's do notify, because that sounds good. Okay, calendar reminder. We'll change that to notify. So, okay. So we got critical stop already. How about default beep? Okay, that's default. This is Windows XP default. No, it isn't though. That says default, but when did you ever hear that using Windows XP? I didn't, so we're not gonna do that. We want it to be probably ding. See what I mean? This is the default sound. This is clearly the Windows XP default. Remember hearing this when you're clicking on something? Do the same thing here. See? This is what you would use on Windows XP. That's what I mean. Sometimes the names confuse you. That's why I'm kind of going over this with you guys instead of saying, okay, how about it? I'll cut all this part out of the video. So, okay. Test, all right. Desktop mail notification. Okay. I think for that, I would want to use the pop-up balloon sound. You remember how iconic the pop-up balloon sound is? Where is the balloon sound? I think it's this one. Windows XP balloon. Yeah, little notifications. Those are great. I love those. Okay, desktop mail notification. And let's go to Windows XP balloon. And that one is changed. Okay, device connect. Okay, and device disconnect. Okay, so this is a sound you'll hear a lot if you do anything with USB. So for this, let's go to device connect. And this one's, I think I remember this one pretty well. I just don't remember what it was called in the Windows XP. Okay, hardware insert and hardware remove. So device connect is gonna be hardware insert. Okay, not hardware fail, hardware insert. Okay, so, see, that's the Windows XP one. And then here's the disconnect. So hardware remove. Disconnect. Okay, here's the fail to connect. All right, and I haven't heard this one before, even on Windows 10. I guess because I've never had anything fail to connect, but if it does, we want to hear this one, hardware fail, which is, that's a good sound. Okay, so exclamation. Now that kind of goes back to ding, right? I feel like that goes to ding. So exclamation's gonna be ding. All right. All right, then instant message notification. Okay. So what could that be on Windows XP? That could be pop-up. It could, or the pop-up balloon, or maybe it's notify. I don't know. What do you guys think? What about ring in? What does that sound like? Oh, I like that. Then there's ring out. That's kind of like, that could be like a phone. I think I'll change mine to ring in. That's probably doesn't necessarily translates over, but I like the way that sounds. So let's do ring in. Okay, so low battery alarm. Okay, it's just the typical ding sound. What's low battery on Windows XP? Battery low. Ooh. Hear how ominous that sounds? Duh. Okay, that's almost a little too ominous, but we're gonna do it anyway. In fact, that sounds more ominous than the battery critical. What does battery critical sound like? Well, maybe not necessarily. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, so those are all good. All right, message nudge. It's trying to nudge you in the right direction. You know what? You know what? We could use ring in, or we could use the pop-up balloon sound again. Why don't we use the pop-up balloon for that one? So balloon. I don't know why I keep calling it pop-up balloon, but whatever. New fax notification. New mail notification. For those, balloon would probably work just as well. Balloon, fax, mail, fax, okay. New text message notification. Okay. We could just use notify for that again. Or pop-up, whatever you prefer. I'm gonna go with notify. I like to give it a little variety. All right, NFP completion, NFP connection. I don't even know what these are. That's a very interesting sound. I know I've never heard that, so you guys probably won't either unless you're doing something fancy. I don't even know what NFP stands for. Okay, so, we could give it the, okay, so there's log on and log off sounds. I forget about that. We need to make sure we set those. What does menu command do? Hold up. That sounds interesting. All right, you know what? I think I'm gonna skip these. Okay, so notification. Ooh, notification. What's the Windows XP notification sound? Is it ding? No, do they have a notification one? They do. But that's not what we had. You know, I'm not even sure. Would it be error? No. It would be more like ding, wouldn't it? What about default? Oh, that's that weird one. That's right. I think notification would kind of go back to the balloon one again. Yeah, because those were always kind of like the notifications, really. We're gonna set that to balloon. I have a lot set to balloon, but whatever. Program error. So we don't really have a program error set, but what I would do would be, oh, wait a minute, we can actually set it from here. Oh, that's kind of cool. Windows XP error, right? Yeah. Nice, okay. So system notification. Okay. We just set that to balloon again. So now here's the thing. Windows XP didn't have user account control. That was kind of the one big thing that messed up a lot of compatibility for programs when Vista came out. So for this, we're gonna want to make that something pretty in your face sounding. That could be ding, but I'd prefer it to be error. Or maybe it could be exclamation. Yes, that's what sounds good. In fact, that sounds perfect. Let's set that to exclamation. In fact, we've barely used exclamation for anything, and I think exclamation was actually used a lot more in Windows XP than I'm giving it credit for. In fact, hold up. That might be better than using balloon for some of these things. Yeah, let's do that for notification instead of balloon. Let's see, exclamation. All right. Notification there. Yeah, we could have actually used that for a lot of things. In fact, that would be better for exclamation too. I didn't even notice that. Exclamation should be matched with exclamation. Not the ding, but maybe notification should. You can see I'm having a hard time deciding between stuff. I think it's kind of okay. So that's good. Is there anything else? System notification, user account control. Empty recycle bin. That needs to have a sound effect, obviously. Where's recycle? Okay, recycle right here. There we go. Okay, so for this, we're gonna want it to be recycle. That's the sound. That's iconic as well. Okay. Is there anything else over here? And you guys can add some of these or customize it how you want. So let's see, is there any like log on and off type deal? So here's Windows speech recognition. That doesn't really do anything. It's too bad there's nothing for like log on and log off. We just don't see anything for that, which is kind of a shame because I would love to set those. There might be a different program you can do that with. I'm not going to get that much into it. There is one for Windows startup sound. See that? Hold up. Play Windows startup sound. We want that turned on because we're going to change the startup sound later to this iconic noise. Remember that? We're going to do that with a different program though. All right, so that basically I think is about it. I don't think I forgot anything. If I did, you can let me know down in the comments below and maybe I'll make a second video if there's anything I've missed. See there?
See that iconic sound? But you can see here I emptied it and this icon didn't change. So maybe that'll annoy you, maybe it won't. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. There is a couple of things I do need to do left. So we can turn, instead of using this notification bar, there is a program we can use to kind of bring pop-up windows back. They're kind of buggy. They only work with certain programs. Basically, they hook into a program to change the way it delivers notifications. It'll work with some apps. It won't work with others. Kind of like how this border works with some programs, but not others. Like it'll work with these type of apps, but it won't work with these. So it's kind of like that, but we're going to try it anyway. So for this, we want to go to winarrow.com. If you're familiar with computer customization, you've probably used this before. So what we're going to want to do is we want to get WinArrow Tweaker here. And this is a great program. I love it to death. Okay, now some of the settings in this program are kind of let's just say they can mess up your computer if you fool around with it. So be careful with what you change. Like there's something here you can use to remove Microsoft Edge and remove Cortana, and a couple of these things will like very much break your computer. So, and I know because I've done it and then I've had to figure out how to fix it. Usually usually it required completely reinstalling Windows. But we're gonna go ahead and set this program up and make some changes. So I'm just gonna put this in a portable mode for now. Okay, WinArrow Tweaker, and here we go. Okay, so that's gonna install it to C drive. So we'll go ahead and we'll run it. And basically what we're gonna do, it's gonna say I agree. It's basically saying you don't hold them liable for anything that messes up your computer. And here we go. Okay, so you can already here's the startup sound, right? Listen to this, play current sound. All right, so that's the default Windows 10 sound. It's actually in Windows 7 and Vista. It sounds nice, but let's replace it. We want to replace it with the default Windows XP one. Okay, so start up. Now, let's hear it. Pretty cool, right? And of course, we'll need to reboot Windows for these changes to take effect. We'll do that after we're done. Okay, so then there's icons, and you could probably use these to change the way it looks and stuff. I'm not going to mess with this right now. There's a lot of things you can do with this to change things as you want to. Again, be careful with what you change. This stuff right here, appearance, won't hurt you, but if you change stuff under behavior, maybe, or in some cases, there's another area. Wow, they've added a lot of stuff to this program since the last time I've used it. Okay, wow, you can add stuff to context menu. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Some of this stuff right here, this could maybe mess it up. I'm not really even sure. But what do we even come on here for? I've already forgotten. I think it was pop-up balloons, right? Pop-up balloons, or maybe it's just balloon. Okay, desktop and taskbar balloon tooltips. Okay, so basically Windows 10 shows all apps and system notifications as toasts. Guard the balloon notifications, which were there since Windows 2000. So you'll see a toast notification Windows 8 style enabled this option to get balloon tips back in Windows 10. There's a button in Windows 10 that causes balloon tips to show at the top of the screen sometimes, even though the taskbar is at the bottom. Nothing can be done about this bug. Now, you need to sign out, sign back in. Yeah. Okay, I've never seen that happen. I've never seen balloons up here, but maybe you will. I don't really know. Okay, so then there was one other thing I wanted to show you guys, and this is just personal preference. It's just something I like to do, and I probably should fool around with some of this stuff and see all the new stuff they've added. It's kind of exciting, but what does shutdown here do? Oh, I had shut down a context menu. I don't care about that. What we want to do here is, this Photos app that you use to open up pictures? So it's fully functional. It works fine. Oh boy. Oh, Windows Explorer just crashed. Probably because we're messing with stuff up in here. But this opens it in Photos, and this is a perfectly fine and functional app. But let's say you want to use the classic Windows picture viewer, right? Get classic app / activate photo viewer, and you can add a lot of stuff from here. You can add the games from Windows 7. You remember all these? I think you just download them. You can add the calculator. You can add the desktop gadgets. I might actually add these. These are actually really cool stuff. They have security vulnerabilities, which is why they removed them. But they're pretty neat. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But this is the one I like. Activate Windows Photo Viewer. So this is really cool because it allows you to use the photo viewer for Windows 10. And here, right here, you see Windows Photo Viewer. Basically, this is still present in Windows 10. You just can't find it normally because it's disabled in the registry. And this program re-enables it, and then you can set it as the default for your photos. And it works pretty good. It still works just fine, just as good as it ever did. Voila. See, I actually like this program better. Again, that's just me. You might not care. But yeah, this program right here is very helpful, but I was just wanting to do it to change the startup sound and change the balloon notifications. So I'm going to go ahead and restart my computer, but that's basically it for the tutorial. I hope you guys found this very, very useful. If you are having any issues in the comments, I'll be happy to try and help you. If you saw anything I forgot, let me know. Maybe we'll make a follow-up video at some point. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching my guide. Again, this was requested by the community. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Until next time, I've been your host, Kess Gaming, and I will see you all at the top.
I'm about to end this man's whole career. There goes a sight from my soul.